Consultation Podcast Network.
Allie, you're kind of a hoe. I'm not gonna lie, you're pretty skanky.
I am not a hoe. There's only one man in my life. Right, Johnny?
Oh, please, Allie. Your legs are harder to shut than the John Benet Ramsey case.
Oh, snap!
Gobble gobble, motherfucker.
Blood and Black Rum Podcast presents Thankskilling. Hey guys, welcome back to the Blood and Black Rum Podcast. I'm Ryan from coldsploitation.com, and I'm joined with my co-host Martin.
How's it go?
And today we've got a little treat for you, a little early Thanksgiving present. Thanksgiving's coming up really soon, actually. It doesn't really seem like it. It seems like it was just Halloween. We just got done with the Halloween series that we were doing. All of the remakes for Remake-A-Ween, but nope, here we are, only a week away from Thanksgiving, and it's pretty exciting. I like Thanksgiving. How about you?
I usually work it.
But at least you have...
So I usually just like, meh.
But you do, generally, even if you do work Thanksgiving, they give you a Thanksgiving meal, right?
Well, I don't work Thanksgiving now, because I don't work that shift.
Yeah.
And plus, on Thanksgiving, at the DC, the volume's so low, they're done by like 8 o'clock. So
yeah.
They're out of there nice and early.
But generally, like, during the weekend when you do work, they kind of give you all a little Thanksgiving feast.
No, they don't.
I thought you said that they did last year. I thought they gave you some turkey last year.
No, for Christmas they do.
Oh, maybe it was Christmas I'm thinking of.
No,
I thought it was Thanksgiving. But
Christmas they do like a special lunch.
Little
and
spread.
Have But no, they do give us a turkey though.
Yeah.
Butterball. Walmart doesn't cheap out.
We get cheap ones for our work. They do give us like small turkeys to take home, but
all I know is after picking a bunch of them, the last thing is on my mind. Like, oh boy,
I'd love a turkey now.
It's more like just give me a box of stuff hanging out.
Yeah. Well, what do you do for Thanksgiving then?
Just with the family.
Sit around with the family and watch football?
No, because I fucking hate the Cowboys. So I'll never sit down and watch a Cowboy game, and the Lions are just always dreadfully bad. So
I don't know.
And to be honest with you too, especially now that I'm getting more older, especially when it comes to football, if it's not the Bills, I just can't care. I can't be like before. I used to be able to watch Monday night,
any football game.
Yeah, now it's just like if it's not the Bills, I don't care. The only sport I can watch like any team play is baseball. Because it's my favorite sport. So if it's not the Yankees, I can still watch. I'm not inclined to watch other teams, but I can do it. And playoff hockey. I'll watch the entire.
Well, hockey's pretty fast paced, so it doesn't really matter who's playing. I actually so I don't watch a lot of football generally, but I can watch any team, and I actually like it on Thanksgiving quite a bit. I don't know, it's just something about the tradition of watching football on Thanksgiving and settling down and having your beer or wine, or for me, generally on Thanksgiving, it's wine, and just slamming that back and watching some football. So that's what I do. I normally go to my relatives.
If I do watch, it's like it'll be the Lions. Or now that they got the extra Thursday night game on the NFL Network, because Thursday night football's that fucking big abomination to the league now. I mean, I usually eat my food and kind of then just tune out.
Yeah. We are gonna have an episode up next week before Thanksgiving, but it's just not gonna be Thanksgiving themed because it's just the way that the schedule has fallen thus far, because we have Justice League to take on next week. So we will have an episode, but it just won't be Thanksgiving themed. But today we are talking about a Thanksgiving film, And there aren't very many Thanksgiving films, actually. It's once you've seen a few of them, like that's it. You've reached the end of the good Thanksgiving movies.
Well, are you talking about horror? Or?
No, I'm talking in general. There's not very many Thanksgiving movies.
Well, the Hallmark Channel, maybe if they
no,
weren't
Hallmark generally switches right to Christmas.
No, I'm saying
that.
I'm saying if they weren't so gung ho on gearing up for, it's November 1st, Christmas.
They have a couple of Thanksgiving movies, but I think for the most part, yeah, they just.
Maybe Lacey Chabert's like, guys, can we maybe do a Thanksgiving movie?
Maybe Lacey Chabert is always all in because she just loves Christmas so much. Maybe she doesn't even like Thanksgiving whatsoever.
I think
skip right to Christmas.
She's a good Christian woman too. So,
I don't know. I can only think of a few good Thanksgiving movies off the top of my head. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Obviously,
we talked about before.
Yep, one of the classic Thanksgiving films.
It's literally the only one that will come to my mind.
Well, that's because you haven't seen Dutch.
I've heard of Dutch, and you talk about Dutch all the time around Thanksgiving, and I know it's on Netflix, so I will eventually watch it. But even still, like the only film, like if you're like, hey, what's a Thanksgiving film? I would just be like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and like name another one. I'm like,
That's it.
It's just like a weird holiday to kind of.
Yeah, that's one of the things too that I find a lot of people do is they say, after Halloween, people start getting into that Christmas mood, and they say, "Well, wait, whoa." You're forgetting a holiday.
I don't get in that Christmas
You don't
mood.
get into any mood. But they go, "Whoa, you're forgetting a holiday. Don't forget about Thanksgiving, man. Don't forget about Thanksgiving." Like, what am I forgetting about?
And you're
like,
forgetting
Thanksgiving's not
Veterans Day.
Yeah, in Veterans Day. Yeah, right? Thanksgiving is not a holiday where you're, like, gearing up for it two months in advance, like I do with Halloween.
I mean, when I was younger, I didn't gear up in advance, but, like, the prospect, like, Thanksgiving dinner, I can't wait. Now it's just, like, especially now that I'm getting older, fatter, even them getting fatter, it's, like, harder to eat even, like, as much food.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like, when we were in high school, we go to, Far East Buffet and eat, like, 12 plates of, like...
Gorging yourself.
Yeah, now it's like, you go there, plate and a half, and it's like, I shouldn't even bother going to a buffet. No point. Same thing with Thanksgiving now. I'll literally, like, get what I want on a plate, and that's probably all I'll eat. Maybe I'll go back for, like, another biscuit.
Well, I mean, the problem that I have is not even that, like, I do get excited for Thanksgiving, especially, like, when the day's coming up, a couple days before, but it's just like, what do you want me to do for it? Should I go out and, like, get a fake turkey piñata and just, like, smash it around? Like, I'm celebrating in advance! I just don't... That's one thing that bothers me is, like, when you say, don't forget about Thanksgiving. I'm not fucking forgetting about it. I'm still gonna go and eat my food on Thanksgiving Day.
You can get your Jones soda.
Yeah. The turkey dinner meal that they make for Jones.
Yeah, and mashed potato and green bean. And
I would say that I even celebrate Thanksgiving more than most people do. We make it a point to watch Dutch and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles every year. This year we've been watching every fucking Roseanne because it's on, I think it's like, Amazon. Amazon Prime has every Roseanne episode. So we've been watching every Roseanne Thanksgiving episode. We like to watch every Bob's Burgers Thanksgiving episode. So it's not like there's no tradition involved, but still, it's okay to celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas together and, kind of make them a pair. If that's what you want to do. I'm cool with that. And if you don't want to celebrate anything like Martin, then you just go right ahead. Be a Scrooge McGrinch. Nah, I'm just kidding.
No, he's not kidding.
Here's a confession. I don't like turkey. I don't like turkey very much at all.
So good.
I will have it on Thanksgiving.
The dark meat. See, that's what you gotta eat. You have to eat the dark meat.
Okay, so yeah, correction there. I did have, I've never had this before, but we went to the, it was the Big E, and they do have, roasted turkey legs that you can get. And I'd never had that before. Like big hunk of...
Like medieval times?
Yeah, basically. Yep. And I'd never had that before. I tried it, and I liked it a lot. It was, like, nice and salty, nice outer skin flavor, and I liked it. And that's because it's dark meat, right? I don't really ever eat dark meat. I generally only have, like, the white meat that they put out for Thanksgiving. So to have that leg, it was like, wow, this part of the turkey is actually really good. But in general, I don't really like turkey.
One day I want to do a turducken. Deep fried turducken.
Have somebody do it for you.
Oh, that's something me, you, and Matt could do. I know
Yes.
I know you go.
I've never had duck either. So
Well, duck's delicious. I haven't had it in years, but it's really good. It's just.
I mean, I would try it. I'd give it a go.
it's more dark. It's just like literally. Like,
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about duck in general, but just turducken. I'd try it.
no, but deep fried. We could go.
Yeah.
Like that's what we gotta do. One year instead of you going out to Salem or whatever, we'll go to like Matt's like driveway, buy a deep fryer, and throw.
Or just do it a couple days before or something. Just doesn't have to be on.
Oh, do like a Friendsgiving?
Yeah, because I mean,
fuck that. That's not a real holiday.
It's tradition for me to go to my relatives, so
Yeah, well,
I don't know if that's.
To hell with them.
I've been there like every year for my entire life, so can't really skip it now. But we do have a fun-filled movie today with Thankskilling. In that film, there is a turkey that gets roasted. So, and there's also roasted turkey leg. So it captures all of the great things about Thanksgiving. And if you haven't seen it before, it's a very, very low budget film made basically by fledgling kids, I would say, who were starting. They wanted to make a Thanksgiving film. It's not really at that time, in 2009, not a lot of Thanksgiving movies that are like out and about. There wasn't. I don't think at that time there was even the trailer for Thanksgiving out at that time.
Yeah.
So, think so in 2009?
Grindhouse was before that. That was like 2005.
Think so? I gotta. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because I would say.
We saw because we watched Planet Terror at your parents' house back.
2007 it was. So
back in high school.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, so it was out before that. So probably gave the Thanksgiving guys the idea to do a Thanksgiving horror film, but probably not. And Thanksgiving has very little to do with Thanksgiving.
Well, thank God it was them instead of Eli Roth.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember seeing Thankskilling like way back when it came out. And at that time, I was a little bit of a different movie watcher. I wouldn't say like now I can kind of appreciate bad cinema, and we'll talk about this in a little bit about Thankskilling and whether it's considered bad by regular standards or what kind of standards do you need to watch Thankskilling with. But I was a different viewer back then, and I remember really disliking Thankskilling. Couldn't really stand it, and so I feel like my taste has changed over the years, which I think we'll get into a little bit when we talk about the movie in full as well. But I think we'll save that for a little bit and kind of get into our beer talk today, because it does really resonate with Thankskilling.
And Thanksgiving.
And Thanksgiving. It's the beer that we have today, classy.
Refined.
Yeah, for
smooth.
For some very choosy palates, I would say. Some people may struggle to pinpoint this taste, but I would say there's a little bit of plum and fig in there. Perfect, a cranberry as well. Perfect for Thanksgiving. I am obviously talking about the quality beer, Keystone Light. Keystone Light. The connection might seem tenuous to anybody who doesn't really know about Thankskilling, and to be honest with you, I didn't know this about the film at all until we just watched it. But the kids do drink Keystone Light during the film, and we've never covered it before.
Doing a poor job. You can tell they're trying to cover their hand on the labels because like, oh, we can't. Which by the way, I think that's stupid. That's one thing about like movies I hate. Like, oh. Like, you gotta get, like, the company's permission. Like, no, you bought the shit. If it's in...
And it's advertising for them, too. I mean...
No, it's not. I don't. Because, like, if you accidentally get in the shot, like, they're driving a Jeep Wrangler. If you accidentally get in the shot, like, Jeep. No, it's not like, oh, they're supporting Jeep. They got a fucking Jeep.
Yeah.
I mean, they're supporting it because they have it. But at the same time, it's not like they're going like, by the way... Before you, if you need a new 4x4, why don't you stop at your local Jeep dealer and get yourself a Wrangler? Same thing like, the beers. And they're like, hey, why don't we sit down, guys, and have a nice cold Keystone Light?
Yeah.
And like Keystone pops up. Hey, kids, drink responsibly. Always smooth. Always. They don't
they're not going
doing
out
that.
of their way.
You know.
No, I agree. It's not really.
It's
It's not well hidden.
That's always bother. That shit's always bothered. This is a perfect time to get like this rant off.
Yeah, go for it.
It's just always bothered me about like things in films, and then now because of that, when you see certain like brands that like a certain like being shown, then
now you know.
Yeah, like when you're watching Skyfall and you see like Bond like. I'll grab like a Heineken, like the label facing forward, like like his hand perfectly wrapped around it. It's like the label showing. It's like, yeah, Heineken paid for this movie. Okay, we got it.
My favorite was when the Surface tablet was coming out, the Windows tablet, and you would see it on like every CBS show. The Windows tablet. And they'd be like, hold on, let me grab my computer. And they'd pull out the tablet. And it's like, okay, let me
grab my Windows 8
Yeah,
tablet.
Right, exactly. First of all, like what smart detective is like pulling out their Windows tablet? No, they're going to pull out like this they're going to be going to a massive database, not something that's on a Windows tablet. But I mean, good try though, Windows.
It's with,
look what Sherlock uses.
Well, I say that's what they're doing now with NFL booth reviews, like for replay review.
Yeah,
it's no longer like the big hooded booth review. They got Surface tablets now.
Oh, really?
So so like they go to the sideline, they hand them like a Surface tablet. And they, well, watch the replay and listen.
All advertising. Yep,
it's just fucking ridiculous.
But anyway, rant over. Thankskilling they do drink Keystone Light in that. So we decided, because we've never had Keystone Light on the show, we tend to go a little bit more refined and crafty. So today we wanted to bring it back a little bit and do a look at Keystone Light. Now we've done some other beers that are like Keystone Light on here before. Some cheaper beers, and I would say that we are generally pretty easygoing on beers like this. Wouldn't you say? We're not like harsh on these types of beers.
No, for the most part, I mean, like we're big Genesee fans, and outside their their Pilot Batch Brewhouse series, which is craft, their craft line. Their staple beers, their Jenny, their cream ale. Those are budget beers. Mm-hmm. And we love those,
And I would call Keystone Light a budget beer. We bought a 6-pack of 16 ounces for $4. That's cheap. That's like, I mean,
why buy Smack when you can,
you can't afford not to get these. Really,
it's legal and it's fun.
And the thing too is that we were just gonna get two tall boys. It was like, two tall boys is almost the same price as getting 6 of them.
It was $1.09 for the tall. Which, that also showed... See, that's one of the reasons... I know you don't go there that often. That's one of the reasons why I go there. Price compared to, like, Stewart's and whatnot in the area. So much...
They're not, like, technically a convenience store pricing.
Like a chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because... Yeah.
That's nice. It's nice.
Which I also, when I stopped at the mobile the other day... in Glover's Easy Mart.
Yeah.
The guy was telling me, because I made Matt buy 2 sodas because they have a new salted caramel
I know, I want to try that.
Yep. And a holiday Mountain Dew.
I know.
Which is just Code Red and Mountain Dew mixed together.
I want to try both of them.
I tried them because I haven't drank soda at all since April. I took 2 like swigs of it to try them. The Code Red Mountain Dew blend tastes just like watered down Code Red. But
that would be my guess.
The salted caramel one, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's at mobile. Yeah, I gotta go pick those up.
It's not bad. Thing is, I would never drink probably a whole 20 ounce of it though, because it's just like
it's too much.
Yeah, it's like that's good. Yeah. But no, like the cashier, and he also owns the place, was saying like, oh, don't go, price, because like 2 for $3 for those things. If you went to Stewart's, it'd been like $5.
Yeah,
for 2 sodas.
Yeah, for sure.
That's only if you live here in upstate New York, fellas and friends.
So
sorry for going off the tracks again.
So as for Keystone Light's taste, though,
Is this a beer of college years for you?
No.
Not you per se drinking it.
Oh, but of people drinking.
But like the parties and stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it was. I would say that not even so much. I don't remember many people drinking like Keystone or anything like that. I more remember in my days Rolling Rock because that was very cheap.
Fucking hips,
and
it's not cheap anymore.
Yeah, Rolling Rock and also at 40s were the big thing.
Wow, classy.
Yep.
I do remember this a little bit in college. I more so associate this with high school. This screams high school to me.
Yeah, I didn't drink in high school, so there was no association with that for me. However, I don't think it's that bad. I was expecting a lot worse.
I remember I haven't had it since college, and I remember fucking thinking it was god awful.
I really don't think it's that bad. I wouldn't say it's super watery, and I wouldn't say that it's even. I think I probably would drink this over a Bud Light, to be honest with you.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, this has more substance to it than Bud Light. It's not as watery. I would say that it doesn't even have like some of that sickly malt taste that some of the other light and cheap beers have.
It does have a malt taste.
It does, but it's not sickly. It's not. It's. I don't think that it's overpowering to where it becomes so noticeable where you're like, that's a cheapy malt flavor.
I'd say it is pretty watery, but it does have, and one of the reasons why Miller Lite's probably my favorite light beer type with Heineken Light, where Heineken Light's got that hop presence to it, like you would taste in a normal Heineken. And Miller Lite's got like the maltiness to it, which I think it's actually got a better maltiness to it than like say their High Life, because I'm not really actually that big of a fan of Miller High Life. But when you drink when we drink a Miller Lite, it's pretty good. It's refreshing, clean, crisp, and it tastes like a beer. And it's got like that malty taste to it. I would say this has a very similar malty taste to it, like a Miller Lite, but not quite as pronounced. But it's still a lot more pronounced than, say, if you were drinking a Bud Light, which, to me, like, all you can taste is just pure water. Or even like a Coors Light. Coors Light's very kind of minimal, too. This is actually not nearly as bad as I remember it being at all. It's actually surprisingly not that bad. The one thing I'd say that kind of detracts me from it, it's got kind of like a tinny taste to it from the can.
Yeah, the can is cheap. You can feel it. It's very flimsy.
So I think if it didn't have like that metallic-y taste to the front, because it's like when you first drink it, it kind of tastes like it tastes a little tin, and then you get the taste of the beer. If it didn't have that, I'd actually say this would be probably one of the better light beers I've ever had.
It really is good, yeah.
I gave it a 2 out of 5 on Untapped, but if it didn't have that, I'd probably go more like closer to like a 2.75.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I definitely would never like shy away from having one. I confess to being sort of a beer snob in just setting it aside and saying like, no, I don't want to have any of those. And
I can't even say I'm a beer snob anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying like
just because it's like oh, especially now it's like, what would I rather have, an IPA or like,
yeah,
or like a Pilsner? I'll take the Pilsner.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like I would stay away from this one just because of the reputation that I know it had, but I actually think it's really good, and I'm like I said, very surprised. I thought it's kind of like when we cracked open those Rockdales and we're like, man, the Rockdale Lights, the Walmart brand beer, and like this is gonna be awful, and like, you know what? It doesn't have really any taste to it, but it's not bad. It's not that bad. And I think, I haven't had Busch either, so...
A Busch Light or Busch or...
Any of them.
In general?
Nope. So I can't compare to that.
Are we going to have... You know what? That's what we're going to do next week.
Just have a Busch next week.
We're going to do Busch and Busch Light.
Busch and Justice League.
Busch and Busch Light. No, because you know what? I think that'll go perfectly fine together.
Sounds good to me.
Not tipping our cap, our hat to our possible review of that, but
I don't know. I like Keystone Light. I think it's pretty good. It's a nice change of pace if you're a craft beer drinker. Check it out. Don't be shy, and don't just distance yourself from it because of the reputation that you've heard about it.
I'm sure most people have had a fucking Keystone Light.
Maybe. I've never had it before this, so
how?
I just never have. I don't know. Like I said,
how have you never been like somewhere in your life and someone's like, "Here's a beer," and they hand you a Keystone? I know no one around here drinks. I
told you in Massachusetts that wasn't a thing. It was Rolling Rock was a big thing.
Well, no, I know.
Or 40s, like Old English.
No, I know that because no one around here buys Keystone Light. I worked at a convenience store, and out of all the beer that would go out of code, there's only one beer that would go out of code. It'd be Keystone Light because nobody fucking bought Keystone Light. But with that being said, there are people who again, it's like. I would say like if you're like who would drink Keystone Light? High schoolers. Saying like Milwaukee's Best. Who's drinking Milwaukee's Best? High schoolers. Then when you get to college, probably more like Bush, Labatt, Rolling Rock, Bud Light.
Yeah.
And then you go from there after that.
Yeah. I don't know. Just never had it. But I like it. All right, let's get into Thankskilling. You know what? To be honest with you, I was a little afraid to do Thankskilling this year because I know how angry you happen to get at certain films when they are not very good, especially like when we did Mako, which was probably one of the worst films that we've done, I would say, ever, because you really hated that one.
Well, there's a difference.
Yeah, I think that there's
we've talked about it before quite a few times on when we've done reviews of bad movies on the difference between a bad film and a good bad film.
I definitely think there's a difference here in that Thankskilling
is intentionally bad.
It really is. I would say that I think they have done an ingenious thing with it in that it's both unintentionally and intentionally bad. Except the unintentional part of it just adds to the intentional part of it. Because you would think that at some point, they know that they're making a bad film. Now,
if you're making a film for $3,500, it's going to be hard to be
right. It's going to be hard to make it a good film. So rather than try to make a good film and fail spectacularly,
especially with the ridiculous concept,
the concept of it. Rather than doing that, the makers of Thankskilling, they just decide, hey, let's for the most part just not worry about making it good and just make it totally bad. And that's that intentionality, the like knowing that your film is bad and not caring and kind of going with that, almost in like a meta commentary sense, makes this all the better. That's the thing. You have to recognize when you're not good. And then run with it. And then people will kind of be like empathetic to your cause. They're like, oh, wow, they're not good actors at all, but they realize it. They get it. And so in that sense, I would say that Thankskilling is actually kind of ingenious. Because there's a lot of meta to it. They recognize that it's so stupidly ridiculous, the premise itself about a killer turkey that comes back Chucky style,
but necromanced.
Yeah, they get that all of that is really, really stupid, and they just run with the stupidness of it. And at first, you might be wondering, as the first view of tits just fills your screen.
I was sold on this movie with
that's right.
The opening shot.
The opening shot of Wanda Lust's nipple is
lusty breast. Frolicking,
hanging over, that part right there is like, why is this pilgrim just fucking running around with her top off?
Especially in pilgrim time. Not only that, but even before that, it's the card. They have title cards, which is I shouldn't say title cards because they're not for the titles.
Yeah, just more like an exposition card.
Exposition card, and it's like in 1621 when the first Thanksgiving happened. The olden days.
In olden days. Yes,
It's like, oh, you know you're in for a good film when they're like, all right, we're going to the olden days. Sounds like a story like your old pappy's gonna tell you about Vietnam, and you're like, I don't want to hear the story again. But,
yeah.
And then after that you get breast. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, large bouncy breasts. And there's no real reason for the whole scenario to have occurred. And it's great. And it's from there you know what to expect.
I want to know if they had a budget of $3,500, what did she get paid? Especially the fact that she's like an adult film actor.
She probably did it just for
$100,
just for fun. It seems like she because when they mentioned her name in the credits, special thanks to. Seems like they were just like, "Hey Wanda, would you mind showing off your boobies in our film?" And she was probably like, "Sure,
I'll do it for free. Why not?"
Right. Yeah, I mean, at that point, you know about this ridiculous premise. You know about a turkey that kills people. Why not? Right? Why not? I would do it. I would have done this for free. I would have been in the film for free.
You would have ran around like opening shot of your dick just fucking...
Oh, I'm not a porn star, so I don't know how many people would
flaccidly hanging
want
there.
to see it. But no, I would do the film.
Have you seen most porn stars? Most porn stars aren't actually, exactly good looking.
Right. You wouldn't call them an Adonis.
Or,
or Ron Jeremy.
Or Aphrodite. They're not exactly people you look at like, oh, they're stunningly beautiful. You look at them like, they got some nice bits and bobs.
I would like to see them ram each other.
Yeah, I like, picture myself. Because it looks,
I'd like to picture myself in that scenario.
Well, that's why they have the whole POV.
That's right. That's right.
God, Ryan.
No, but I think...
You would know as you get mailed porn for review. So, I mean...
None of the new stuff. He said, disenchanted. No, but I think like when you see that first scene, first of all, if you're not on board with that first scene, then you might as well get out. Because you're not going to enjoy the rest of the film. If you're like my dad, and you find things offensive for just whatever, you're offended by sexuality in general, then you're not going to like this film. I can tell you that. You don't like raunchiness. It's just you're out.
It's actually a good parody, because it's like, oh, why are her tits out? Oh, and then she gets killed by a killer turkey, and who's making quips. It's like, yeah, you can tell. It's like, yep, this is supposed to be a parody.
Yeah, I think and that's the good thing about Thankskilling is that, first of all, one of the good things is that
it is a parody, a black comedy.
It's a parody. It's a comedy. You know what to expect. This is almost like it's making fun of things like Child's Play. You can easily see the similarities between like Child's Play, Nightmare on Elm Street. You have that killer quip that are ridiculous, like punchlines and like puns, plays on words.
A lot of puns in this film.
All kinds of things.
If you hate puns, you're not gonna.
I mean, yeah. Basically, what they do is they grab the ball and they just run with it. They just run with it until they hit touchdown. just fucking puns everywhere, and it works. It works because again, they know that it's bad. They know the script is bad. They realize it. They get it. They get that none of the actors can deliver these lines in any meaningful way.
And it's amazing that 5 people wrote the script.
Yeah, I think it was more like a collaborative thing.
Like
sat around. Hey, we got a good idea.
Sat around a circle, smoked the joint in two, and like, hey, what if they said this?
Yeah, that's what it seems to me. It's more of a collaborative idea. It's almost more like it's almost like a student film is what I would call it. And it looks like it was.
I think it is because at the credits there,
LMU. There was an LMU
Loyola Marymount.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely in that style. Although, what I would say in its advantage is that I've seen a lot of like very low budget films, and Thankskilling is not one where you walk out and you're like, well, that was just painful. That was a painful experience all around because it took itself seriously and it didn't realize that it was stupid. And
one of the best the best movie going experience I've ever had in my life was going to see a low budget local film.
Yep.
And I hope one day we will be able to do that film.
Yeah.
On this podcast, because it's hands down the greatest film experience.
However, that one did take itself seriously.
I know, but see, this is where we talk about like getting even further, like good, bad. There's bad films, like films that are objectively bad.
Yep,
and they have no value to them, and they're terrible.
Yep,
Suicide Squad. Yeah. The DC universe, basically, outside of Wonder Woman. Then you have good bad films. They're so bad, they're great. Troll 2, which we've covered before.
Yep.
I'm still happy that we got that tweet from one of the actors on that film.
Yep.
An actress, I should say. The Room, which you haven't seen. Mm-hmm. That, I would say, has now probably surpassed Troll 2 in being the best worst film ever. So much that the disaster movie's coming out with James Franco, and that looks like that's going to be fucking fantastic. But so you got like, so we were saying you got good, bad, so films are bad, but you love them. Then there's bad films that know they're bad, and then you decide whether or not off their badness if you can sit through and enjoy them. And I think that's where this film is in. It's a bad film. It knows it's a bad film. Do you like that? The fact the fact that it's a bad film.
I think that's the biggest question that, like, and that's one that Thankskilling tries to bring up over and over again. It's like, if you haven't tuned out by now, if you haven't decided, like, this is not for me, then they've succeeded in making sure that that they know that it's a bad film and they're going to go with it. It very much feels like all of the script is very...
Aren't you putting all your poker chips on the table right from the get-go when your first opening shot's tits?
Exactly.
Just like,
and not even just tits like that, but just like constantly like focusing, like, this is why she's here. Like, this is, this is the part that we gave her on purpose. We're just going to zoom in on those and just...
Like Linnea Quigley.
We're just going to watch them until she's dead, basically. And, yeah, and I think that's what makes Thankskilling fun. And when I was younger and I watched this film and I kind of was taking it too seriously, I was like, well, that was just terrible. But you can't take it too seriously. You really have to appreciate, first of all, the work that this has gone into it to make it a low budget film, really, because that does take some guts and some skills to even some of the cinematography is not bad. Really, I would say for a low budget film, some vision went into this for cinematography.
Well, if they're film students, then obviously they're going to have they at least should have some kind of an eye, to shoot certain things. But then again, you can tell there's no budget because the film's dubbed. You'll notice the voice,
for the most part,
voices aren't matching up.
Yeah,
and
it's got dubbing and
using a wide array of stock sound effects.
Yes, yeah, it's great. And I would say that, but that's the most enjoyable thing about Thankskilling is that it just realizes that it's really dumb and it kind of goes with it, and the script is just absolutely insane and stupid and full of puns, and I appreciate that. Not only because this is basically, you sometimes you get films and they're set around a holiday, and that holiday takes a back seat, and you don't really see that. It doesn't matter if it's set on Valentine's Day because you don't see much about Valentine's Day. Well, that's not the case with Thankskilling because
I can't remember if My Bloody Valentine was very Valentine centric or not.
The remake was not. So, but what I'm saying is Thankskilling makes sure that that it's Thanksgiving. The characters are constantly saying we've got to get home for Thanksgiving,
and they're doing stupid things in the car, hey, Thanksgiving's tomorrow. Yeah. What are you thankful for?
Right, exactly.
If we were ever driving, hey, Thanksgiving's coming up. What are you thankful? I'd be shut the fuck up.
Yes, yeah.
I don't. When it comes to thanks, I don't know if does your family give thanks?
No. Well, I mean, yes and no. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Not me per se, but someone in the family.
You're just stuffing.
Pretty much.
More great.
I'm bad about that stuff. But yeah, no, we do have a little saying, but it's not religious or anything like that.
When my grandma was still alive, my mom's mom, when she'd come over, she would lead the prayer. She wasn't even really religious, but when she was creeping closer to death's door, her prayer for God is good and God is great, became stronger and stronger with the years, and and that was about it. It's not really like, oh, what do you? I think a couple of times we tried, like, what are you thankful for? It's like, shut the fuck up and pass, the green bean casserole.
I'm thankful for this food that I want to eat.
Yeah. I've been eating pepperoni, cheese, and crackers all day.
Yeah.
It's great, and I love it. Subway, make a sandwich of that, but still, like, I don't know. So I do know people do that. I just thought that was funny. Like, what do you think? Let's tell us what you're thankful for.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
And then it breaks down like, I'm gonna have sex with one of you, and there's only 2 girls and 4 guys.
Yeah. Yes. The film is all about the sex, and the nerdy guy.
How would you feel if we were just driving in, like, it's like me, you, Sarah, and like maybe someone else, and I'm gonna have sex with one of you tonight?
Yeah, I would be like, well, chances are good it's gonna be me. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, but I like that. I like the punniness of it because it does bring out the Thanksgiving nature. Like, you have constant puns about football. Scoring a touchdown, driving yards.
That doesn't have much. That's not really something to do with Thanksgiving.
Yes, it is. It's a focal point of Thanksgiving. Yeah.
I know, but it's just more that guy's the jock stereotype.
It's a character stereotype.
So he's walking around carrying a fucking football the entire movie, just like everywhere he's going, it's like a football on his arm. It's like, it's just like, not everything in life goes according to what you think it's gonna go. Yeah, sometimes you gotta call an audible. It's just like,
I know. I love his ridiculous. I mean, I think those do tie in with Thanksgiving. I love the.
We should do that with like different sports. Like, sometimes you just gotta run 2-3 zone.
Yeah,
you can't play man to man all the time. Sometimes you gotta sit back and play 2-3 zone.
Sometimes the goalie's really gotta come out and make a stop.
Make a save.
Yeah, you can't just sit back in the goal and wait for it.
Sometimes you want to go butterfly in the net. But sometimes you just gotta stand up straight and take that shot.
That's right. Sometimes it looks like there's a slam dunk, and it's really not. It's you can't even make the layup. Yeah, it's so. Yeah, I know.
It's great. Not like that. The flashback.
Yes. I love it because, and if you didn't like, okay, so the flashback occurs maybe like 10 minutes in after you meet the characters. So if you didn't realize by then that this film, it really doesn't take itself seriously, when you hit the flashback, you better, I mean, that's where you're like, okay, all right, I see what they're doing here. Because it's basically like a 90s sitcom flashback sequence. Things get like bright and
sepia toned.
Yeah, and you get like a little 90s theme cue. It's like fades out into a nice flashback of basically just the main character receiving the football and catching it. Like, my dad used to play with me when I was younger, and we've gotten in a fight and we don't really talk anymore.
It's like what, like 5 years?
Yeah,
like 5 minutes ago. Like,
he's like, basically, the whole thing is like, my dad used to play football with me. And the flashback is him, the same age. The same God. It was like, it was like a week ago he used to play with you. It's like, no, that's not really how traumatic childhood storylines go. But sure, we'll let it slide. But that's not the only flashback. There's a couple of them. There's a whole song and dance after one of the characters dies. And they figure, one of the guys, Johnny, who's been the geeky guy who's not cool.
That's Darren.
Or I'm sorry, Darren.
Which by the way, we should get out of the way. Our cast is your stereotypical horror cast. You have a jock, a geek, a redneck, a slut, and the good girl.
Yeah, and you have Darren, who's the geeky guy. He's kind of been pulled into this group of friends. He wants to be cool. He wants to have sex, and he's kind of befriended the hillbilly guy, Billy.
Redneck. He's not a
redneck guy.
There's a difference.
And Billy eventually dies at the hands of the turkey. And he has this whole flashback sequence about them being friends and
eating ice cream,
going on the playground.
running around, playing hide and seek.
It's great. It's because it's definitely like one of those movies that, again, it realizes like this happens in films, especially in like very cheesy drama films. Get that flashback in of the traumatic experience from childhood or that time you really had fun with your friend.
Even more in sitcoms.
Yeah.
You know, like this week on Family Matters, things get serious when so-and-so dies, you know. It's like, or, you know, Scrubs. As much as I love Scrubs, they would, you know, pull the Grey's Anatomy card like that, you know, all the time.
Like do, you know, for the most part, it's funny, but then there's that one moment, that emotional moment where it's
like all of a sudden, like, oh,
they bring it down.
It's like Brendan Fraser's dead. Now I'm sad.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I think that, like, Thankskilling recognizes that, and it's not really a film that ever really drops the comedy aspect of it.
Those John Benet Ramsey jokes.
Yes, twice.
No, not like 4 times.
Well, I know it's
it's not just it's not twice. They say it quite a few times. Like refer. And I don't get it. Because I can't remember off the top of my head the John Benet Ramsey case.
Well, basically, they just never found out what happened.
To him?
Her.
Oh, her?
John Benet was...
That's a girl's name?
Was a, yeah. She was a child star in, like, pageants to a rich family. And there was a ransom. It was very strange because it seemed like it was an inside job. And so they never really figured out what it was, who it was, you know, what happened to her, because she ended up, they eventually found her dead in the house. And so the question became like, what happened? And it was probably the parents, but they never have officially, you know, uncovered the case, you know, who did it. So that's why that reference is there in that.
But it seems like a really fucking odd reference. Like,
it's really not though, because
we're like referring like to the, like, you know,
to be honest with you,
to the slut. She's like, oh, she's like, I'm a prune. Like, oh, your legs don't stay closed. They're as open as the John Benet Ramsey case.
It's not though, because it's used in sort of an edgy way, because it was a very trying case because of the young age of the victim.
I'm sure it was in the 90s, but
and the bigger thing was that the police investigation really fucked things up, and that's why. And so I think it's maybe lost on some people who haven't followed the John Benet Ramsey case, but at the time, even actually this was 2009, so but earlier on, like, that was a big thing. So
I know, but
I'm surprised you actually don't know that much about it.
I don't remember.
Although I love true crime, so it's kind of my...
I don't remember. It's not like was it the Mendoza killings?
The
Menendez brothers killings.
That's what Law and Order True Crime's doing right now. Menendez brothers. But
anyway. I mean, but no, like it's not something like
yeah, no, but I mean, I think it's funny.
But then again, that's kind of like, this is a little off topic, but I mean, it's kind of like with like all the, you know, shootings now. Like I was like when we were just driving to the store to get the Keystone Light, the song that was playing was a Drive-By Truckers song about one of the shootings in an Oregon Community College of Umpqua. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I can't remember. So the song's called Guns of Umpqua, and I was like, there was a shooting in Oregon Community College in 2015. I don't remember hearing about that.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when a mass shooting happens, which is like every other week,
yeah,
you know, you hear about it. So it's like, I'm surprised I don't remember that.
Hard to keep track.
So it's like probably the same thing like 90s. Like, you had OJ and the Menendez brothers. Yeah, so it's
John Benet Ramsey. Yeah, those were the big cases. Yeah. Well, I thought the joke was funny. It's funny, and it's used quite a bit. And I thought
it was funny just because it was random. Like,
I think that's like this case of, again, where that may have been a mistake, in that they reused the joke again, and not really meaning to do it, but then it becomes so stupidly, stupid, that the audience picks up on that and they laugh because it's like, oh, that's ridiculous. You know, that was intentional. So it's that unintentional intentionality again. I think that works for Thankskilling. It doesn't work for every movie, but in this case, with a plot so ridiculous, with the understanding that the film is really not going to be that good. I think it works. It's fine. The other thing is, I think that like even some of the special effects and stuff for the turkey are really great.
I actually think that the turkey puppet's actually really good.
I mean, it
looks good.
It looks good. It works the way it's supposed to. I've seen worse puppeteering jobs, that's for sure.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, I
thought it looked actually. That's one of the highlights. I thought it looked, like they spent a lot of time making sure we're gonna make this, thing look great. When it goes radioactive, it looks stupid, but
right. I mean, it's intentionally dumb because they're playing off of the fact that like a lot of movies used radioactivity that was not very common ever to make
Toxic
super
Avenger.
monsters. Yeah, right.
Chum.
Chud.
Whatever.
No, but I do like some of the, like, I like the turkey quite a bit in terms of like just how they use him in stupid and weird ways. Like when he puts on the face of the sheriff. Absolutely stupid and quite ridiculous, but it works because they are not only making fun of the film itself, but the characters in the film. Because the turkey says like multiple times how retarded they are. And I like it. I think I would say that this film is more enjoyable than something that really tries your patience like Batman v Superman.
I was going to say, I like this Gene Shalit glasses and nose.
Yeah. Yes.
And,
yes.
He's having coffee with the sheriff. And
yeah, that is a good scene.
The sheriff, who for no reason has a fake mustache.
And put on a turkey suit for some sort of contest.
The police Thanksgiving ball.
Yeah, that's crazy. What did you think of the there's a like an animated scene that tells the backstory of the turkey. What do you think about that?
It's out of nowhere.
It's
like they probably were like when they're writing the script saw Kill Bill and like maybe we should do something like that.
I think it was like kind of an homage to some other films that do use animated storytelling to tell the backstory of the killer or the important character. And I think it works because they did do a good job with the animation. Surprisingly good job.
Save money too. Like we can't film this shit. Or you
right?
Can't,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like it actually. I think that it shows when you're talking about like some low budget filmmakers, it shows a different side of what they can do. And I think like for this, if it's some sort of student film or something like that, as a professor, I'd be like, hey, nice job. You know what I mean? Like, nice job being creative and figuring out a way to include something that you may not have been able to film or you didn't have enough money to film. It's a good, I don't know. It's a good way of getting around that issue. And then you have Oscar the Hermit, played by General Bastard, who is after the turkey when it murders his dog.
That's his credit,
General Bastard is his credit, yeah. I love that guy. I think he's great. It's a great addition to this film.
Could be a cousin, one of the Leatherface relatives.
Yeah, I know. But I think though, he's not a good actor. None of the people in this film are.
I think he gets like the worst dub job too.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
It looks like for the most part, like his is the one that's made it like you're looking at. It's like, they dubbed it like
it doesn't fit with the mouth
at all.
Yeah.
No.
But I think that he does a good job, or they wrote him well, one or the other. I think I like that character, and I like that it's sort of like out of nowhere that there's this hermit guy who's his main task is to go kill this turkey now that it killed his dog.
Flashy.
Not
Lassie. Flashy.
It fits in with the stereotypical like slasher crazy guy whose main goal in life is now to
track down the killer.
Yeah. I think it works. And I like that about Thankskilling is that it does work off of all of the genre themes that you would have for a slasher horror film.
It's in the woods. There's kids. Their Jeep for no reason overheats.
There's
like wow, like that just blows my mind too. Like, oh, they didn't pay attention to like the heat gauge. You know, like
yeah,
like it looks like it overheated, guys. Yeah, your brand new Wrangler overheated.
Yeah.
Let's camp here.
There's like a witch aspect to it. They have to read words backwards, like a Evil Dead sort of Necronomicon thing.
The fucking late 90s high school style music and walking around in the beginning at high school. Oh, it's so great. Like that generic late 90s style like rock song that you would hear like be like, "Oh, we're about to watch American Pie." Yeah, you know. And then just them walking around, you get to see them like all be like their, stereotype with,
Yeah, it's like a pop punk song, really.
No, it's not. No, it's not a pop punk song. I think it's like just like a generic late 90s rock song. It's got too much organ going on.
Poppy, punky.
I mean, it's pretty poppy, but there's not really punky. It's got too much organ.
It's like a...
What punk band do you listen to that's got like Hammond organ playing in the background?
I don't know. There's also the Godsmack, low budget Godsmack song.
I didn't really think it was that Godsmacky.
Either it's like Godsmack / Disturbed.
I'd say like new metal definitely, but like the vocals were more like you're like
Yeah, I don't know.
Godsmack doesn't really do that.
I got like some Godsmack Disturbed vibes from it.
Papa Roach.
Either way, it's pretty fun and egregious.
But you can tell they're doing that though.
Yeah, no, it's
it's like I feel like when you hear like Papa Roach and like Godsmack, like
I mean, see,
that's what you're going for.
Again, though, I think that's unintentional intentionality. I think that's unintentional, and that's what they had to work with, because a lot of low budget bands are doing that new metal-esque stuff. Like local bands, they were just like, hey, we need a song. It got contributed for very low money, and then they used it, and then it accidentally was very similar to like what you would normally get in a 2000s era or a late 90s era film.
Ghost Ship Mudvayne.
Yeah. And I think like the Thankskilling is a great combination of accidental ideas that really come together.
I don't know, like the scene like that music. I like the whole, especially not even just the music. The whole soundtrack. I don't think it's supposed to be like it's intentionally bad. I think it's intentionally bad. I think like those songs are like especially like when they're at the high school and that song's playing. It's like, yeah, this is like a shit, like every, generic late 90s, early 2000s pop rock song you would hear in like a film about kids in high school.
I don't know. I think we're giving
same thing with like the as you said, Godsmack like metal song. I don't think that's like somebody like actually cut that. Like, wow, this is really good. Like this demo is gonna get us on YouTube.
I think you are
I think
overestimating the
tongue-in-cheekness.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think like in some ways they recognize it, but at the same time, just like, knowing from like other low budget films I've seen, that's the norm. That's de rigueur, as the French would say.
But even like the regular soundtracks, like it's like, okay, you're obviously going for like a shitty synthy Thanksgiving themed style ripoff of Halloween. Like
I do like the regular soundtrack. I think it's pretty good
because like the main, like I would call it like the main theme for like the turkey like on the prowl is like, okay, you're definitely going for like a Halloween vibe, but it's low budget and like you're using like a more modern synth sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
Synth as glockenspiel bells thing.
Well, that wasn't like for the theme. I'm talking about like the actual theme for the turkey, not
Stalking
not like the glockenspiel playing. But like, again, that's how like they're probably like they had to have been like, okay, this is gonna be bad. Why would you use like a xylophone and glockenspiel to be like your fucking, like you score for your soundtrack? Unless they're like, all right, we don't really have any way to score this film. I know this one asshole. I'm going to tell him, like, he's really into the glockenspiel.
In some ways,
And we'll have him, we'll tell him his music's good, and we'll have him do it, and that'll be our soundtrack, and we'll just buy him a beer.
In some ways, like I want to believe that you're right in that sense, but I also know logistically, and from what I've seen and experienced, that a lot of times they just use what they have and what they can access, and so that's great that it worked out for Thankskilling, and I don't know, maybe it was intentional, but I tend to think otherwise. But either way, whether it was intentional or not, it still makes it a great bad film. So let me just ask, like, did you enjoy watching Thankskilling?
Yeah, it was a pretty decent watch. I will say, even though it's only an hour and like 8 minutes long, there are parts that do drag in this film.
Yeah.
And do feel like this film's a lot longer than it actually is.
No, I agree. I think like the end sequence
is way too long. Like they just fucking dither about like in the trailer house, and it's just
I agree. I felt like the end goes really long, and it's partly because they wanted to have that moment where the monster comes back. It looks like it's dead, but it's not.
I thought they just wanted it because now that the football guy and the good girl are boyfriend and girlfriend, that you got to hear them having sex.
Yes. Well,
which, by the way, I love that part too. He's like, by the way, even though everyone's fucking parents are dead now, and fucking the guy's just like, tonight may have sucked because my parents are dead and your parents are dead, but now I have a new girlfriend. And he didn't even like ask her anything.
Right? Yeah.
He's just like, I got a new girlfriend now.
Assuming that she would say
yes. Yeah, and then she's like, oh.
Yeah, not
girlfriend.
only is he like, yeah, that sucked, but he was like, I'm kind of glad it happened.
I know, he's like,
and they're dealing with it very well. One of my favorite moments is when Oscar comes up and he's like, maybe you guys will know someday how it feels to lose someone you love.
My god, that was great.
Yeah,
just
like a dog.
That's like when we saw fucking Canadian accent right there. When we saw when we saw Thor Ragnarok last week, and
right.
I can't remember the guy's name, the rock guy.
Yeah, right. Yep.
When he's like, "Oh, don't worry, you can rebuild, and turn the ashes of the old and rebuild," and then the planet goes, it's like, "Oh, never mind."
Yeah,
that's literally what that reminded me of. It sucks. Your dog's dead. Yeah. One day you guys will learn what it's like to, suffer loss of your parents, best friend, literally goes down the line. If everyone...
Yeah, it's a great moment. It's a very like knowing nod to other horror films. So, I guess I would say that for the most part, I liked Thankskilling a lot more than I initially did, and I had fun with it. And I think that's the main thing, is that you have fun with it. It's not really. This is not a film that you're going to watch and you be like, I want to sit down. I really want to think about Thanksgiving. I really want to think about it and then see a horror film about it.
Well, again, is there a Thanksgiving film where you sit down and think, like, besides a documentary?
Well, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I would say, has a pretty fulfilling conclusion where you learn John Candy's wife died. And he's been fucking.
But and he's lonely, and he's looking.
Yeah.
I get that, but the moral though isn't really necessarily tied to Thanksgiving.
Well, it's about being thankful for what you have, and then.
But you can tie that to a Christmas film.
Yeah, you can.
So it doesn't. Yeah. So that it doesn't count. It doesn't count because of that. Because you can,
Yeah. No, and I agree. And John Hughes, I mean, he was pretty much the master of that. So. Dutch has the same thing, basically.
Just, be thankful. And again, like I said, so I don't think it's not exclusive to the holiday. Because again, like be thankful, but then same time with like Christmas, it's like, thank your blessings, Yeah. So that, doesn't necessarily, I would say, work. Maybe that's why Thanksgiving gets shafted. It's like, because Thanksgiving's all like, be thankful and, And it's like, well, we can do that for Christmas too, because it's like, oh, we're blessed and
and get gifts.
And the New Year's coming, so and we can turn a new leaf there. So
no, but I mean, I think that Thankskilling, I think it has a good sense of what it is, and that makes it a lot more fun than, another film that's low budget that has really ambitions of being a lot better than it can be. Because you can only get so much out of $3,500.
Yeah.
And I think you're better off going with a more comedic and, understanding and sort of meta route like Thankskilling does. And it recognizes that. And I think that's why it is so fun. And, besides, its longer length and even at an hour and 8 minutes, it may be a little bit too long for its own good. I still think that it's pretty fun, and I almost wish that I had understood the appeal of it when I first saw it, because it's a great film to watch with friends because you can easily make fun of it. You can laugh at its own humor and its knowing intentional humor and have a blast with it. It's a great Thanksgiving film to watch with your family and just, be giggling with your family after many
It'd be
glasses of wine.
A good food drunk movie. Just like, it's talking turkey who says puns and kills people.
I can see Sarah's grandmother loving it.
I can see Sarah's mom loving it.
That's true, yeah. But I mean, I think it's fun, and you have to have fun with it. You have to be really open to it being very stupid. And if you're open to that, you can get down with it.
If you like the most schlocky of schlock films.
Yeah, and it's almost like something like a trauma film. In that trauma films are really stupid. They're really low budget. I'm thinking things like Poultrygeist. It's in the vein of like Poultrygeist. And if you like that stuff, if you like things like Basket Case and some of the stupider plot lines of those films, then you're going to like Thankskilling. Simple as that. And don't think about it so much. Just let it go. And then you'll make sure that you enjoy it.
If the boobs in the beginning don't turn your brain off instantly, then
how are you going to be prepared for the turkey rape scene later where it happens fully clothed?
Yeah, and the sex scene that was before that was, you can see is totally fully clothed, which just I was laughing really good at that. Just like,
I love the addition of the gravy flavored condoms.
Small, extra small gravy flavored.
Hey, I mean, seriously, what else would you expect from a turkey? Extra small. That's what I would think. Anyway,
at least they were on it.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what? Too. There's some jokes in here that are kind of airplane-y.
Yeah.
Like Zucker Brother in style. Just like, my house, it's over there. He's like, yeah, I know, I dropped you off.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I wanted to bring up, actually.
There's got quite a few jokes that are
Yeah, in those areas, it almost seems like those were improvised, like a little bit, and then they realized, like, no, we already filmed this. Like, we have this. So they were like, I just fucking dropped you off there. Or like the time where they were like, we've done so much to the turkey already. And he's like, no, we haven't done anything.
No, we haven't done that.
Those scenes almost feel like they were improvised or maybe like edited in later because they realized like this doesn't really jive.
Maybe I'm giving them too much credit because I think it's intentional. It's supposed to.
I don't know.
It's supposed to be like a hospital. What's that? It's a big red building. Big building.
That's hard to say. I mean, I guess the makers of Thankskilling would have to weigh in on this and say, like, yeah, that was intentional, or no, that was an accident and a happy one.
Film students are going, after watching, Citizen Kane, are going to be, pouring over this film.
Yeah, right, like, exactly.
Is it intentional or not?
And, you know what else, too? It's I would say it's very progressive in that it takes a look at the issues that we have with celebrating Thanksgiving when we treated the Native Americans like shit.
I think this movie might piss off some people today, especially today in today's modern political climate. Like, oh, the turkey only kills white people?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm making a joke here about how progressive it is, but it does actually tend to fall into that early 2000s level of using faggot and gay for all kinds of
nonchalantly.
Yeah, of all kinds of like just regular old fun stuff, fun dialogue. Faggot and gay. Yep. Those are terms that we just generally don't throw around anymore in the sense that they are negative terms.
You haven't been on the internet enough.
Well, we shouldn't. I should say we shouldn't be throwing those around.
Just look at any like most YouTube comments.
No, I know.
It's like,
I know.
Usually,
it for most people it has become
escaped the vocabulary.
Yeah. It has become a
taboo.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. But this one does. This film does fall victim to that for sure. But yeah. So let's get into a rating here.
Out of what?
Obviously out of 10 killer turkeys. What else are you gonna do?
I don't know. John Benet Ramsey.
Yeah. Out of 10 John Benet Ramsey case files, what would you give Thankskilling?
A 4 out of 10.
That's actually lower than I would have expected, considering how much you've praised it during the
because it's not an
podcast.
Objectively good movie.
I guess, yeah.
But
you're saying 4 out of 10 in terms of like how, like related to other other film.
Yeah, because I can't. It wouldn't be fair to judge it on its own. Judge it on like a different standard,
Right?
Because it's not objectively a good film.
Yeah.
The soundtrack for the most part is pretty piss poor. I do like some of it, but it's pretty piss poor. The acting is atrocious, wooden, and terrible. The story is ridiculous. The effects, for the most part, are terrible. That being said, your mileage is going to vary on how much you can enjoy it, and then how much you interpret whether or not it's intentionally bad and not. Because it's a parody, I think a lot of the stuff, and they had such a terrible budget, they know it was going to be bad. So, like in those things that I mentioned before, they went all in and made it bad. So if I was just basing this solely off of enjoyment, I'd say like a 6.5. It's a fun, stupid, bad film. It's not near the best worst film I've ever seen, but it's it is enjoyable. It's short, but then just basing it off of like taking enjoyment in, and then all the other factors of the film, then no, it'd be like a 4.
Yeah,
which I think is like what I gave like Troll 2 too, which is again like if you look at in every aspect objectively, it's a terribly made film. But if you look at your enjoyment factor out of it, it's going to vary. And for me, with that, it was high on the enjoyment scale. So,
yeah, I tend to agree. I think it's probably, in terms of objective film, it's like 3.5 to 4 range. If you're watching it for all seriousness, or even just as a film itself, and not really in it for the aspect that it's so bad that it's good, then you're not really going to get much enjoyment out of it. With that said, watching it just to be entertained as a Thanksgiving film, I would probably give it around, I agree actually, probably around a 6.5 to 7. Mostly because even at the truncated like 70-minute running time, still too long, really, to be honest with you.
Should have been like a 45 minute.
Right, they could have gotten away with just being like a TV show length
sci-fi
idea.
Like special.
Yeah. And I think that would have worked. I'm not under the impression either that some of this stuff was intentional. I actually think it was just unintentional, and it worked to its advantage. But either way, it doesn't really matter if it was intentional or unintentional. It just matters how it comes off to the viewer. So in that sense, I did have fun with it. I think it's it's a weird and often funny movie. Whether intentional or not, it's not up to me to decide. I just found it funny. So I think it could be entertaining, especially for people in parties or if you've been drinking or if you just
It'd
want
be
to
a
have
fun
fun
drinking game. Like
fun drinking game, or if you just want to have fun like the day before Thanksgiving or something like that. It's a perfect example of, what people can do with a low budget when they recognize that they really don't have the means to make a really a quote unquote good movie. So they set out to just make the most ridiculous movie that they can. And I think that's really what you get as the product with Thankskilling. Now, did you know that there is a sequel?
Yes.
Thankskilling 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They went the old traveling Wilburys route with
Yes.
their naming scheme. With Volume 1 to Volume 3 is the second album. They,
Yeah, because the Thankskilling 2, I think, is actually like a meta thing that they do within the film itself. I think. I've never seen Thankskilling 3, so I don't know.
Maybe it's Thanksgiving Killing 2 takes place in here when the radioactive turkey part.
That could be.
Maybe that's technically Thanksgiving 2 because you got 2 movies in one,
Yeah, and then maybe we'll do Thankskilling 3 next year.
I love that in the end credits they said to be continued ... in space. See, again, that's how you know they're like.
Again, yeah, that's definitely a nod. That's like recognizing like
If Leprechaun and Jason can do it, why can't we?
it's great. I would like to see it in space. I don't think Thankskilling 3 is in space though, unfortunately.
That's sad.
I know, but we'll have to do it next year.
Become one of our things,
I guess.
like Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Leprechaun.
One of our things. I mean, you're only going to get 2 years out of it, so.
How do you know? Maybe they're gonna be making.
Maybe they'll make another one. Yeah, hopefully. And we'll just keep making one so that Blood and Black Rum podcast can cover them.
If Bubsy can get a new game, 20 plus years later, why can't Thankskilling get another movie?
That's true. All right, so next week we are doing Justice League.
Dawn of Justice.
Yeah. Not excited for it, but we'll do it.
How much money do you want to bet right now? Because if the villain is Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf. Yeah.
Whatever. You gonna correct my pronunciation every time?
You said Steppenwolf. It's Steppenwolf.
Whatever. You know what?
Jack Kirby's rolling around in his grave right now.
Well, probably because he didn't make enough money. He got screwed out of royalties.
Probably. He probably did.
How much do you want to bet we're going to see? Like Magic Carpet Ride or Born to Be Wild in this film?
Yeah, I mean, there's not...
Or both. Like, what?
I wouldn't put a bet on any song being in there. But I mean, I think that would be reaching a little bit. But even so, Thor gets away with it.
But it's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, they get away with it because in that song, there's a specific reference to a hammer. And it's like,
what,
on
the
the
immigrant
nose.
song?
Yeah. On the nose. And then, so I think that would be on the nose.
I thought it was more
Justice
just.
League,
I thought it was more just because it's the immigrant song is about the Vikings.
That too. But I don't know.
So that fits more.
I think that's on the nose for Justice League for Steppenwolf, but
I don't know. Well, you saw Suicide Squad, like, oh, they're not good. Then I fought the law, and it's like, yep,
true.
Like, yeah.
They are generally on the nose with the DC.
I would have loved the Vegas odds on that. They probably like, yeah, that song's definitely gonna be in there.
Yep.
Don't even take a bet.
What would you put odds on Ben Affleck brooding?
As Batman or Bruce?
As Bruce, because as Batman, I mean, that's generally the thing, is him brooding.
I mean, if the film's supposed to be more lighthearted,
it is. Yeah,
I think he'll be cracking joke. Because in the trailer, they got the line like, "What's your superpower?" And he's like, "I'm rich."
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like,
I just feel like they're still gonna have Bruce being sort of the.
Did you see
appearance game?
Yeah, get over it.
Yeah, seriously.
Did you see Gal Gadot wants out of Wonder Woman if they don't fire Brett Ratner?
Yeah, but they did. So there's no way that they're not gonna have Gal Gadot come back.
What was Brett Ratner's part in the DCU?
I'm not sure. I don't know. They haven't really been following that portion of it, the sexual assault charges.
There's so many now, like it's becoming ridiculous.
Well, it is. It's just hard to follow. Yeah, it's. I mean, I can't say that I'm really.
And some of them too, like Louis C.K. It's like he's been saying for years he's a shitty person.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised he like masturbated in front of somebody. He looks like somebody who'd be like, I hate my life. Ta-da.
He was producer, by the way, on the DCEU stuff.
So does that mean we're not getting Rush Hour 4 now?
No, I'll just find another producer.
No, he's the director.
Oh, was he?
He's directed all the Rush Hour.
I'll just find another director.
That's why I said when Rush Hour 3 came out, the big thing was like they were making a big deal, like Rush Hour 3, a Brett Ratner film. I'm like, what? And I was always baffled by that. I'm like, okay, he's on the Rush Hour films, which are good, not because of Brett Ratner, but because of Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker,
right?
And their chemistry. It has nothing to do with Brett Ratner. So, and outside of that, what else has Brett Ratner done? Nothing. I mean, he's done a shit ton, but not like anything like really noteworthy.
Nothing that you were. Yeah.
I mean, X-Men Last Stand?
Red Dragon.
Yeah.
The Family Man with Nick Cage.
Oh, he did that? Really? Yeah. Some of Nick Cage's better films.
Well, that and The Weatherman.
He is a weatherman in The Family Man.
Well, he's also a weatherman in The Weatherman. I love The Weatherman. But anyway, all right. So
maybe that. I guess he's an investment broker. I could have swore he did like maybe I'm mixing both of them up. I don't know. I haven't seen either of those films since when they came out.
I love The Weatherman. We'll be back next week with Justice League, so we hope you tune in for that. Hopefully you have a nice Thanksgiving as well, because we're not going to touch on Thanksgiving next week at all. We're just going to talk about Justice League for 2.5 hours. We have obviously a website, Blood and Black Rum Podcast at WordPress.com. You can check us out on Cultsploitation, Cultsploitation.com. Join our podcast network as well. We are on Facebook and Twitter. We are also on Patreon, patreon.com/Blood and Black Rum Podcast. You can donate to us. In the near future, starting at the first of the year in January, we are going to be going to a bi-weekly schedule instead of the weekly one that we've been doing lately. So we're going to do one episode every 2 weeks. And we also are going to be moving our schedule to Fridays instead of the Thursdays that we drop our episodes on. You will be able to pick up the episode early on Thursdays if you subscribe to our Patreon for just $1. And that just helps with the cost of the podcast. So you can get early episodes on our Patreon page. So check that out. And that will be starting in January. Otherwise, we also have an email address, bloodandblackrumpodcast@gmail.com. You can write to us. Let us know what you want us to cover on the show or your thoughts. And you can give thanks to us as well if you want to. Thanksgiving coming up. And then anyways, we appreciate you listening to us, and thanks for listening to our Thankskilling episode. Hopefully, if anybody's listening that made Thankskilling, maybe you can weigh in on the intentional versus unintentional aspects of the film. That would be very interesting. Write to us. We'll bring it up on the next episodes of the show. All right, we'll be back next week with Justice League for that train wreck. So hopefully you tune in, and thank you for listening.
Take care.